Okay, hi everyone. My name is Rajesh Kumar. I'll be showing the first version of Art Debugger that we have released in the recent code real time version 2.0.0. I'll be using the one of the sample TCP range counter that is present in the samples of our extension page, main page, and as well as you can go to the repository and download those samples. So TCP range counter is application or that actually implements a counter that start at a minimum value and increase until it reaches a max value. So it is actually counting, and there are options to send those events to change the minimum max value or delta of counter from the client. So I will not be using client, but I will be just using the application and our debug features to test this support. So before we start, we have to create a launch configuration for this to TCP range counter. So we'll go to debug, run and debug view, and we'll just select the drop down and we'll add a configuration TCP range counter, and the type will be art launch. So by default, it will create a launch and attach basic default configuration for this application. The launch will have the TC as mandatory requirement, and attach will not have that because it is anyway application is already running, so it has to just need to know the port or default port is as well 3650. If it is running on any remote machine, then the address also has to be added here as an argument. So I will start with running. So I will again go to run and debug, and then by default it has selected launch TCP range counter, the launch configuration of that. But we need some more parameter to start this TCP range counter. The one will be the port that is needed for the client to connect to it. But that is a mandatory parameter for it to work. So I'll just provide the port as argument. So uh, there are many support for many other parameters like environment variable and current working directories, even connect timeout that can be used here. So after adding this argument, I will start by clicking this start debugging. User can also run by going to run and run without debugging. So I'll be as showing the debug features. I'll be debugging. As the TC has the command for ask for TC, it will directly ask the user to select the TC file present in that application. But if user has only one file, then they can directly mention that file without, so that it does not ask every time. So I will just change it as it has only one file, so that I will not be able to, I should not be clicking extra steps or one more clicks. So by like this, if we give, then it will not ask. So now if you can see, application is in suspended state. So by this will provide, this is the debug toolbar that will provide the current information, and debug view let also will have some information in the call stack like paused or initial. So the application is running, but and as well it is connected to the debugger as application is running in the obvious listen mode, and it is running on by default 3650 port, the on which the debugger has connected to the launched application. User can resume or continue by clicking this button. There is also option of restart, stop, or disconnect. In case of launched application, disconnect or stop are same. It will close the launched application as well. But in case of attach, it will just disconnect because the launched application is no longer control of the debugger or the application which is debugging it. It could be remotely running as well. So I will just resume it. Once we resume, it will start counting. User can also suspend by clicking pause, and then it will suspend. And once we resume, the Art Debug view will actually populate the application runtime structure, starting with the top capsule and its memory address, all the instances that it has created, and the port details. And uh, there are a server port that is capable of sending event. The other ports also can be capable of sending event, but if some ports that does not have any event or support or the capability to send event, that arrow will not show. But if it has support, the arrow will show with the high label as send event. So user can click on that and send event. Like if I want to uh, set delta, so probably I'll set the delta to 30. By default, the delta was 10. Now delta is 1. I will change it to 2. As it is suspended, nothing will print, but if once you continue, delta is set to 2. Now actually it started incrementing in delta 2, like 6 to 7, but from 7 it actually started with incrementing in 2. Once we also have a option to attach, so we'll just show how the attach works. From again the debug view, we will just select the attach TC. The name attach TC launch TC is by default, but user can change it to most appropriate use case scenario. So before attach, we need to run the application. Otherwise, it will if we try to attach, then it will fail to create because the application is not running in its designated port 3650. Even application is running in some other port, it will be having the same issues. So we will first start the application. So we'll go to the target where the core application is already built, and we'll just open a terminal just to run it. And for debugging support, we need to provide this argument and the port that is a mandatory argument for this application, as it actually communicates with the client using this port. Once we click, you can see the terminal will show the message of application here. It is already running, but as it was a debug mode, after that it does not start counting. The counter has not started. So again, it could not connect because if you see, I have started on 3655, but the port is 3650. So I'll change the port and then again try to attach. Now it has connected. By default, it starts with the suspended mode, and user does not see any capsule application runtime structure because nothing is incarnated. But once we resume, it will incarnate, it will start showing all those same things that we have already done. There is one more argument that I want to highlight here is stop at entry. Sorry, it is not here because we don't have control on attached application, but in the launch. Stop at entry by default it is false, so always application will start in suspended mode. But if we don't want to stop it at the initial state, then we can make it as a false, and then if we start launch CC, then it will immediately start counting, if you say, and tree structure will also be populated. So we don't have to resume at the initial phase. So that is the one more feature here. I will be showing some more feature of this using some other application. So there is a device registry, and it actually is just showing the multiple instances of capsules and different types, as well as port multiplicity. It has been uh, created. So I will just show those things, how it works. So similarly, we'll just start it, and I already have a launch configuration of this, that maybe its own default.tcs file, and port that I have also mentioned that maybe the very I add the max limit port. But yeah, if the port is not free, then it will try to find out in case of launched application. But in case of attached, the port has to be provided by the user if that is not 3650 port. So we'll resume it, and then it will show the application structure. So there is a two parts. One has both are same type, but one has one instance and one is dynamic that can contain uh, multiple instances. So I just show the structure of this. So it can contain 10 instances, and C1 can have a fixed part at one instance. And there are events to create the dynamic instances of using incarnate as well as incarnate at. Incarnate will just create the instance of C2, but incarnate at will create the instance of C2, but with the different type C sub. That is a subclass of C inherited by C. So if you can see, has C sub that has been inherited by C. So we'll see how it looks in the application structure. So we will just pass incarnate. So one instance has been created. It will show all the details of that, and I will again send one more event, incarnate at, and it is a in. It will ask for the int data type or event data, because in incarnate at ask for the position at which the incarnation should happen. So I'll just say fourth position index, and then it will create at the fourth index. So if you see the structure will be like this: C2 and colon the index, and then the type. If you see, the type was C here, 0 index because it was incarnate, and C2 fourth index was type of C sub. Similarly, there is a data port as well that has been created to showcase the different data types. Currently, we have two custom data type. One is enumerator, colors, and a structure point. So I'll be showing how it works as well as the multiplicity support. If you see, data port actually is a it's not a single multiplicity. It has a 5 multiplicity. So uh, its flow of sending event will be a little bit different. So if you click on this, it will ask for the which event has to be sent. So if I send the long event, then I will select some long data. But if I select something that is not a long, some other message, this will, sorry, let it go. This will show the port index. Either you have to provide the port index, otherwise leave blank to broadcast. I will just press the enter to broadcast. If you see, bad message came because at the place of long, I was just typing alphabetics. So I will again send long and some long data, and I will just press enter, leave it blank. So if you see, it has broadcasted to the all ports, 0 to 4 port, the same long. This is how the broadcast works on the multiplicity port. And if I want to send the color like 0, 1, 2, red, green, yellow, and the port index may be 3, then it will only go to the port index 3. And same is for the structured data type. point, I will just pass the structured data type. The all the data types requires ASCII encoding, and there is a documentation for that how we can specify this data. So user can look into that and see how this can be specified, and they can pass those data or complex data in the events. I will just press enter. So if you see, it has broadcasted to all the ports the point 1045. So that's all from my side. If there is any question, let me know.